Let's draw an easy volleyball drawing two ways. The first will be 2D, simple color book looking picture, and the second will be a 3D picture with shading. We'll start by making a circle in the center of the page. You can either do that with a lid or a plate, depending on what size you'd like to make it, or you can use what's called a protractor. And a protractor makes a circle, but with this pencil going around this center point. So we put the center point in the middle of the page and draw around, keeping that center point in place. That's pretty slick, isn't it? Next, we're going to put a dot in the very center of this circle, and we're going to make 3 light lines that go straight out to the outside edge, and we're going to make them as evenly as we can to make the circle divided into thirds. So it's just a very light line. I hope that you can see that. Because the next thing we're going to do is to draw the lines that are going to be the sections of the volleyball by making a slight curved line from the outer edge to the inner circle. And we're going to make only one of the lines inside of each of these triangle sections. We no longer need the straight lines, so I'm going to erase those. After you practice a while, you won't even need to draw the straight lines. Now, each of these sections has 3 parts to it, and each part is going to have a line that goes from the outside edge to this edge that matches the curve of this line. So we're going to draw 2 more lines to divide it into 3 sections. We're going to repeat this on the other 2 sections. You can draw them with your paper straight up and down, or you can turn your paper. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn my drawing like this and repeat that same step. For our 2D picture in black and white, we're going to go over the lines with our marker. Draw slowly so that your black line goes on top of the pencil line as closely as possible. Right now the volleyball is floating in the middle of the air. We can draw lines across the side from the edge to the volleyball, and then on continuing that line on the other side, which makes it look like it's sitting on top of a table. Or this could be the volleyball floor and it could be bouncing, and we could make some dotted lines as if it's going up and down. So it's bouncing. If there's extra pencil lines, you can use your eraser to erase those. And then we can color this in. And you can draw extra things into the background if you'd like to. And you could add your team name. There's our 2D easy volleyball drawing. For our second easy volleyball drawing, which is 3D with shading, I'm going to start with that same volleyball shape that we drew for our first drawing. Then we're going to use our pencil to shade it in. To shade, we use the edge of our pencil lead. Let's pretend that our light is up here. You do not have to draw this, but I'm going to draw this little sun just to remind us that the light is coming down here. So this is going to be lighter and this is going to be darker because the light can't get underneath the volleyball. So I'm going to use the side of my pencil, and on this side, about half of the volleyball, I'm going to draw a little bit dark around the edge. It's not lines, it's the shading or the edge of my pencil lead that's doing this. And I get lighter as I get inward on the volleyball. You can see already that starts giving it a little bit of a 3D look. Now if this is sitting on a table, I would draw shading down below here, and you can check out our how to draw a sphere video to see what that looks like. But our volleyball is going to be kind of in the air. So each one of these little places where the material of the volleyball touches together is going to be shaded just slightly to make it look like it's tucked down into the volleyball, because it's not just a flat surface. Each of these little sections has a little bit of curve to it. So I draw a little bit darker, or I shade a little bit darker right on that line. And in fact, I'm going to even go back over the line to make it a little bit clearer. And I'm just going to turn my paper so I can more naturally draw that curve, because I'm right-handed. You can turn yours the other direction if you're left-handed. Right, I'm going to go ahead and shade just a little bit around the entire edge of the volleyball and darken that edge. And we're going to draw just a few contour lines. They're a little bit kind of like, this is more with the tip of my pencil. They come in from the edge of the volleyball to give it a kind of a round look. Okay, so it is bouncing in the air, so I'm not drawing shadow underneath it. Let's pretend that's coming down from a spike. I'm going to use my finger just to do a little bit of blending. not a lot, just a little, on each of those lines. It smooths it out a little bit. All right, there's our volleyball. Okay, I'm going to draw a line here like this is the edge of the floor on the wall, and it's going to come straight across here. And you can draw details now below here if you want to, like lines on the floor or whatever, or the net up above. I'm just going to do a little bit of shading like where that wall and floor meet. There we have our easy volleyball drawing. That goes very fast. You could also color this in and do some shading with your colored pencil. This is our easy drawing, but if I came back with some darker color on the volleyball, I could do some shading on here too. So that also works. So you could do your 3D in color with shading and your colored pencils. Let's draw an easy volleyball drawing 2 ways. For more how to draw tutorials, come on over to welcometonanas.com and join the fun. For your volleyball drawing, you're going to need some or all of these materials. You'll need your drawing paper, pencils, markers, colored pencils, an eraser, pencil sharpener. This is a protractor which draws a circle, or something like a lid to draw around if you don't want to draw the circle on your own.